The 360 performance evaluation process at MC Foods included a 360-degree evaluation system in 2015 to obtain a more comprehensive assessment of employee performance. Process involved gathering ratings from different perspectives, which included managers, direct reports, cross-group peers, and the employees. These ratings were based on 7 core organizational values, which were availability, determination, discipline, humility, ownership, simplicity, and sincerity. Those results were used as inputs for a performance and potential matrix, or 9-box, which influenced and does influence promotions, raises, and professional development decisions. The analysis that follows will focus on identifying patterns in ratings across locations, business units, rater types, and core values, as well as examining potential inconsistencies between the rater groups and identifying factors that may affect performance rankings. The goal for this presentation is to provide insights that will help MCF ensure that the 360 process supports performance improvement while also maintaining employee morale and organizational fairness.
My name is Tricia. Ratings across locations show notable differences in scores. Let me briefly walk you through the main factors driving the rating differences we are seeing across MCF locations. First, differences in local management practices. Yes, supervisors don't always apply performance standards the same way. So some are more lenient while others are demanding, and that variation directly shapes employee ratings. Second, variations in site culture, team size, or collaboration level. Yeah, each site has its own norms around feedback, recognition, and expectations. So those cultural differences influence how performance is interpreted and judged. And in smaller teams, managers can observe individual contributions more closely, while in larger or more fragmented teams, evaluations rely on less direct information, which can affect accuracy. Third, inconsistencies in rater interpretation of criteria. With this, even with standardized guidelines, people read and apply them differently, introducing a subjectivity into the process. All these factors help explain why locations consistently score above the organizational average, while others fall below it, as we can see on the graph, and why these differences may reflect local context as much as individual performance. Ratings across business units reveals added variations. Across the organization, some business units consistently show higher average ratings than others, and these differences aren't random because several structural and cultural factors explain them. Let's see the first point, which is nature of work performed varies by business type, which include rules that rely heavily on collaboration or shared problem solving, and often create more opportunities for positive peer feedback, while units with more independent work may naturally produce lower cross-group evaluation. Next, differences in required collaboration within the unit. Teams with strong communication and independence often evaluate each other more favorably than teams where work is separated. Next, varying levels of familiarity among evaluators. When evaluators know an employee's work well, ratings tend to be higher than when familiarity is low. Managers who emphasize coaching, communication, and recognition tend to generate higher rating than those who take more hands-off or task-focused approach. All these factors I've mentioned suggest that performance ratings may reflect organizational structure just as much as individual performance, meaning comparison across business units aren't always perfectly equitable. significant differences between rater groups, we have manager versus self ratings and manager versus course group versus direct report. One of the clearest patterns in the data is the gap between self ratings and manager ratings. Employees consistently rate themselves slightly higher, which is common in the 360-degree system because self-ratings reflect personal perceptions, while managers evaluate performance against broader expectations and peer comparisons. But when the gap becomes large, it can signal unclear expectations, limited feedback during the year, or differences in how criteria are interpreted. All these discrepancies reinforce the need for regular ongoing communication so that managers and employees stay aligned on performance throughout the year. Thank
Evaluation of core values. The analysis of ratings across the 7 core values show that employees generally receive relatively high scores across all categories, suggesting that MCF employees strongly align with the company's cultural values. However, some values tend to receive higher ratings than others. For example, the values such as sincerity and humility often receive consistently higher ratings, possibly because these qualities are more visible in everyday interactions. Other values, such as ownership and determination, may show slightly lower ratings because they are more closely related to measurable results and accountability. While these differences are relatively small, they highlight the importance of ensuring that evaluators fully understand each value and apply them consistently during the evaluation process. This evaluator education is key to using the 360 evaluation. Identification of top performers. Although the dataset does not include the official 9-box classifications, employees were ranked based on their average non-self ratings to approximate performance groups. Employees were divided into 3 groups: top third, high performers; middle third, average performance; and bottom third, lower performers. This ranking approach provides a useful approximation of how the 360 data might influence placement within the 9-box performance matrix. However, the analysis suggests that ranking outcomes may also be influenced by factors such as location differences, business unit rating patterns, rater biases, and variations in evaluation standards. Once again, the variations in educator or evaluator standards is a key component and issue that the 360 must be able to overcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maisha Arnold. I am going to be presenting you slides 7 and 8, the key insights and recommendations for improving the 360 process for MCF. Um, so for the key insights, we are going to talk about the evaluation scores suggest that location and business unit mix may influence ratings. Gap between self ratings and manager ratings indicate potential belief. Gap between employees and supervisors. Different rater groups consistently show different rating scores. Variances between rater groups may indicate perspective and rater bias. Most core values, most core value ratings were high, suggesting strong alignment. The potential for multiple sources of bias suggests more objective, measurable indications should be introduced to the evaluation metrics. And here we are to the next slide. One moment, I apologize, guys. Hello. So I will be talking about recommendations for improving the 360 process for MCF. Provide training for evaluators, standardize evaluations criteria, use multiple performance measures and make the added metrics quantifiable, monitor rating differences across locations to discover and address inconsistencies, focus on employment development, not just ratings, and make the development the goal. And that will wrap up those two slides. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for working with me. Thank you for everything that everybody has done throughout this journey of me being at Franklin University. I don't mean to make this presentation about me, but I just had a great experience working with Ethan, Andrew, Teresia, and Hugh. They all played a role into this presentation, and I appreciate y'all. Have a blessed one, and we will begin to the conclusion here in a second. Have a blessed one. Thank you.
The 360-degree evaluation system at MC Foods provided valuable insights into employee performance by incorporating feedback from multiple perspectives. However, this analysis indicates that evaluation results can be influenced by location differences, business unit structures, and variations among rater groups. While the 360 process is a useful tool for understanding employee behavior and alignment with organizational values, it should not be used as the sole basis for force rankings or compensation decisions. Instead, the 360 should be combined with additional performance metrics and supported by clearer evaluation standards. By improving evaluator training, standardizing evaluation criteria, and incorporating additional performance indicators, MCF can strengthen the effectiveness of its 360 system while maintaining fairness, transparency, and employee engagement.